Hey guys, Jake here from Blue Box Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing something, it's basically, today I'm going to be doing my definitive Doctor Who series, which is basically where I pick my favourite episode, no, my favourite first episode, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way to 13, and my favourite Christmas special from any series. Well, new Doctor Who, it's not classic Who, but it's new Who. And basically I just pick my favourite series opener, my favourite series final, my favourite like second episode, like just it'll be you'll see what it means as the video goes on. So let's just get right into it. So we'll start off with my favourite first episode. So for the first episode I decided to go with Rose. The series opener, the show opener. It brought back Doctor Who after a I don't know exactly how long the hiatus is. I've forgotten. It was quite a long hiatus though. Of course we had the TV film with Paul McGann in between, but still it didn't get like an actual episode. We just got like the film and that was it. So this was like really good. The things I liked about this episode, it's just the nostalgia, because I remember this episode, and when it first aired, I remember back in 2005. I mean, very fuzzy memory, but still, I remember. And the writing introduced us to the new characters perfectly. The special effects are kind of like cringy. They're not very good by today's standards. They were semi-good. I mean, even by 2005. And yeah, but it was early days, so you can't really blame it for that. Yeah, the characters were amazing, and like I said before, the writing was really good as well. The music was really good. Just everything about this episode just seems amazing. It was really easy to sort of easy to understand. You just from this one episode, you'd already know the basic premise of the show. This guy called the Doctor, he has two arts, he's a Time Lord, and he goes around flying in space in a 1950s police box. That's it. That's all you need to know in this show. Introduces all the aspects of Doctor Who perfectly. So let's move on to my definitive second episode. So my definitive second episode would have to be the most recent one, The Witch is Familiar. So, The Magician's Apprentice, it left on an awesome cliffhanger. Clara, Missy, and the TARDIS had seemingly all been vaporized. They were all dead. The TARDIS was gone, and there were so many good things about this episode. The exchanges between the Doctor and Davros were amazing. They were really good. And of course there were shocking moments as well. There's got to be at least one in every episode. Not every episode, but still. And that was probably when we saw the Doctor trying to give his regeneration energy to Davros, because Davros was dying, and it was we all knew it was going to be a trap. Well, not all of us. To some people it was a real scare, seeing the Doctor be trapped, because for some reason they thought that wouldn't happen. Whatever. They must be new to the show, I don't know, but it still caught us a bit off guard, all of us. It was just how is he going to get out of this one? And then Missy comes up and saves him, which is a callback to her saying in the previous episode, she's Clara's trying to get the confession doll. She thinks she's the Doctor's best friend, but no, Missy is. And Missy actually ends up saving the Doctor. But it turns out Missy is still has a dark side, because she's still the Master. She's still got a bit of ruthless energy in her or something. She's still really mean. She traps Clara in a Dalek, and the Doctor is forced to believe the Dalek, who's saying well, he can't really believe the Dalek. He can't really trust Missy, but he kind of has to, because she's saying that was the Dalek that killed Clara, because Clara's nowhere to be seen. She's actually in the Dalek. Missy trapped Clara in the Dalek, and the Doctor has a dilemma. believe Missy and shoot the Dalek, or shoot the Dalek, or no, shoot the Dalek believing Missy, or don't shoot the Dalek. And it turns out Missy is left on Skaro, but she'll probably return anyway. But yeah, the Doctor and Clara leave her behind, and all the Daleks just die. And yeah, the writing isn't the best, but it's one of the best that Stephen Moffat has done. He usually doesn't do that great stories unless they're like series openers or finales, with the exception of The Wedding of a Song or Hellbent. Well, anyway, it was just an overall well played out story, and I just really enjoyed it. So episode 3, here we go. Now, after a long hard think about episode 3, I decided to go with the series 2 third episode, School Reunion, simply because the other episode 3s I don't really care for, to be honest. I mean, some of them were good, some of them were just plain bad, and this one just stuck out as the best to me. So basically, the Doctor, Rose, and Mickey investigating this school which has strange going-ons, and they also catch up with Sarah Jane, and that's one of the main reasons why I like this. It's because this confirms that oh, sorry, just wanted to do that. I was pulling something about the USB in my Wii U, which the DS is on. I record using a DS because I'm a noob. Everything. School Reunion. Yeah, it confirms that this is not like a reboot. It's actually connected to the older classic, and this is like a good thing because it always has those callbacks. Like Sarah Jane always calls back to her adventures with the fourth Doctor, and I think she was with the first. Yeah, she was with the third Doctor as well. Of course she was. What am I saying? But yeah, and the writing, there were a few good lines in there. There were funny ones, sad ones, the ones that made you really feel for Sarah Jane, because she kept travelling to find the Doctor, on Earth maybe, but she never did. And then this is the first time she's seen him in probably 20 years or something like that. And I really guess you, because imagine traveling with the Doctor and then he just leaves you behind. I mean, that's really gonna suck. And she describes it perfectly. She says, all those galaxies and constellations you showed me, how could anything compare to that? Nothing can really compare to that, to be honest. If I had one thing to complain about this episode, it's about Rose, because she does get a bit annoying at times, because she's she thinks it's kind of a foreshadowing to her leaving in Doomsday at the end of the series, because she's just wondering if the Doctor will ever leave her behind that, and she keeps going on and on and on, and it's kind of annoying. It does get annoying, but other than that, this episode is really good, and I recommend you give it a shot. So, on to episode 4. Episode 4, I would probably have to go with Listen. Now, Listen, Series 8 didn't really go off with a good start. Deep Breath was an okay episode. Into the Dalek was quite a good episode. I quite enjoyed that one, but it still wasn't spectacular. Nothing spectacular. And Robot of Sherwood was just plain bad. It was probably the second worst episode in Series 8 for me. First would be In the Forest of the Night. That was an atrocious episode. Listen was the first episode of the 12th Doctor that was absolutely amazing, and it would be followed by several to come. The Magician's Apprentice, Heaven Sent, all those. This was kind of the starting point for all that. And I'm sure there would have been epic episodes if Listen didn't happen, but still, Listen, I'm glad that they made this episode the way it is. Because the main thing that goes across this episode is that the Doctor is afraid of The Doctor is like afraid of this thing, like, I can't really remember I think it was like ghosts or something, because this is revealed at the end of the episode. Clara, apparently she travels back in time all the way to when the Doctor was a kid, and she ends up in the barn where he sleeps, and she accidentally like gives him like this real nightmare, because like he's getting up to bed because he hears her, and then she grabs his foot to stop him from like going and like checking under the bed, because she's under the bed. And you actually feel sorry for the Doctor, because you realise that it was his friend from the future that caused all this, and it's kind of like creepy. He's like, wow. The writing was spectacular in this episode. There were tons of like lines, and Clara's speech at the end to the younger Doctor, that was amazing. That was really, really well done. And yeah, so on to episode 5. So the 5th episode, I would have to go with World War 3 from series 1. This is the second and final part of a 2-part story that started with Aliens of London, and I just really like this episode because it's like Rose has come home, and like you can't really trust anyone because this Levine, the main enemy of this story arc, is like they can disguise themselves as anyone, and you can't really you get afraid. You get afraid for the characters when they go near someone who is like they are revealed to be Slytherin, because you're just like, oh god, what's going to happen to them? Are they going to get hurt? Is it a human or is it a Slytherin? Because the Slovene creatures were written in a brilliant way. Like the very concept of them is really unsettling, because you can't like trust anyone. There are a few scenarios that I enjoyed in this episode, like dilemmas. The big one at the end, where Mickey has to decide to launch the missile at Downing Street or not. That was amazing. That was well written, well directed, and it was well played out. The actors did a brilliant job. It was like really tense. It got you. It was like really tense. You were just like, oh god, it's gonna happen. And he ends up launching the missile, and the Doctor, Rose, and this political member, a member of Parliament even, Harriet Jones, they all have to like hide, and the Slytherin are all destroyed. The other three, the Doctor, Rose, and Harriet, they all survive, and yeah, it's just a really good story because you have all these these Slytherin running all over the place in London and causing havoc from everyone. Jackie, the Doctor, Rose, like for a lot of the episode, for the second half of the episode, the Doctor, Rose, and Harriet are all trapped in this room with Slytherin outside, and they have to like end up hiding because the Slytherin have gone off to initiate their like plan of starting World War 3, so they can escape and hide from the missile that Mickey has launched. It's just an amazing episode. Watch for yourself and you'll find out what the hell I'm talking about. On to episode 6. So episode 6, I would go with the series 4 episode, The Doctor's Daughter. The Doctor's Daughter was quite like shocking. You were just like, wait, the Doctor has a daughter? What? It was really mind-boggling, but it worked pretty well. The Doctor was like really confused, as was like the viewers. But we all got to know him. The viewers and the Doctor, we all got to know and love Jenny, or the Doctor's daughter. That's her name, Jenny. And you have also Martha is accidentally whisked away from the trip, with them, like they go to a trip because they're on this alien planet, like in the future. And she ends up captured by these like Hath creatures, and she journeys along the wastelands with this Hath until the Hath saves her from like drowning, but sacrificing itself in the process. And you can't really get attached to a strange alien, unless you watch this episode, because that's actually really sad, because Martha like got to know this like half, and it saved her, and she like, you know, she doesn't want it to die. She's like trying to pull it up, but it just died in the end. And then we have another death later on, because humans and Hath are at war, and basically, because I haven't watched this episode in a long time, I think it's like this like sphere with like little like energy in it, and the Doctor smashes it, and I think it like restores peace to the world. It makes everyone realise that they shouldn't be fighting. So something like that. But anyway, the general of the like human team is really angry at this, and he tries to shoot the Doctor, but Jenny goes in and dodges the bullet. But there's one thing she didn't inherit from the Doctor, which is regeneration. So she ends up dying, and that is really sad. Because, like I said before, we all got to know her, the viewers and the Doctor, and Donna. We all like grow close to her, and then she just gets killed off so soon, and it's quite sad actually. It turns out Jenny's not dead. And she goes off to have adventures of her own, and for no particular reason, for some stupid reason, she's never been brought back, even though she's well and alive. Come on, Moffat, bring back Jenny for season 10. We need to make that a thing on like Twitter or something, like bring back Jenny for series 10. Everyone in the comments, type in bring back Jenny for season 10. Please, I'm begging you. Anyway. Whew. On to episode 7. Episode 7, I have to go with the series 6 episode, A Good Man Goes to War. A Good Man Goes to War is one of the best, best New Who episodes. Like, really. It's a fantastic episode. So, basically, Amy, for these past few episodes, she's not been the real Amy. The real Amy has been taken hostage by this, like, eye patch lady called Madame Corvarian? And it turns out she's pregnant. And the Amy that was travelling with them for the past 6 episodes was actually a flesh copy. She was just flesh. And she wasn't the real Amy. But, basically, she gets rescued by the Doctor and Rory, and different like characters that they've met so far in Series 6 all come and help against the battle against Madame Corvarian, because Corvarian wants to use the baby. She wants to use it as a weapon. She wants to transform the baby into a killer. She doesn't want Amy to raise the baby. She wants to raise the baby herself and turn it into a killer who will later kill the Doctor, because she doesn't like the Doctor for whatever reason. Apparently he's a menace to them or something. I don't know. And it ends up that River Song, who we have not known who is since Series 4, it's finally revealed that she is actually Amy's daughter when she grows up. So River kills the Doctor. Unfortunately, we have to wait. We have to wait a few months for the next episode. Is the next episode going to be even better? Is it going to be amazing? Is it going to solve all the loose plot holes? No. No. Moffat, you did amazingly. You did a spectacular job. You did amazingly spectacular job, mate. You just chucked it out the window. I don't know what accent that is. But you just chucked it out the window. And the next several episodes of Series 6 were mediocre at best. Why he just couldn't go back to A Good Man Goes to War is beyond me. But it was still a fantastic episode, and I'm grateful that we at least got one spectacular episode this series. Bring back Jenny for season 10. For episode 8, it has to be Father's Day. Father's Day is kind of the first Doctor Who episode that's actually emotional. Like, you know, Doomsday and all that? This is the thing that started it all. This is a really, like, you feel sorry for Rose in this episode, because it's 1987 and her father dies. She lost her father at a very young age, and she goes back in time to see his death, but what she does is she saves him, which is pretty bad, because this causes these creatures called Reapers or Reavers. I think they're Reavers. These Reavers come in through dimensional rifts, like rifts in the fabric of reality, to sterilize the wound that's caused by Rose saving her father. Because Pete Tyler, he wasn't alive before and he is now. And that might not seem like a big deal, it's just one person out of like 6 billion. But still, it causes a massive problem. And the only way the Reavers can sterilize this time wound is to kill every single living being on planet Earth. However, Pete actually died from a car crash in reality. And this car, since it's like the cause of the events, sort of, it like keeps like warping like at different like directions. Like since portal, it like zaps out of nowhere and then just goes away. And Pete realizes the only way he can end this is to sacrifice himself and die like he should have earlier. Basically, also the Doctor, he accidentally something accidentally happens. Rose touches her baby self, who was with because Jackie's there as well, because they're all going to wedding. They all hide inside the church from the Reavers, and Rose accidentally touches the baby, which causes a paradox, because two versions of the same person have just collided, and the Reavers can get inside the church. However, the Doctor sacrifices himself by saying like, "Oh, I'm the oldest thing in this church. Take me first," and they do. So the Doctor is seemingly dead. Everyone is like in panic. Soon, like, everyone's gonna die, and it's just really bad. So Pete ends up having to sacrifice himself, and the Doctor and Rose just leave. And basically, that never happened. He sacrificed himself, the Reavers go away, and time like resets. It goes, and then it reverses back to Pete actually getting killed by the car before the wedding. It's a really emotional episode because, like, Rose, she barely knew her father, and now she's getting to know him. But then, as soon as she gets to know him, the Reavers attack, and he has to sacrifice himself. It's really sad, because they realise that they're related. He realises that it's his daughter from the future, and he's like really sad that he has to do this, but he has to for the God of all mankind. And yeah, like I said, it's like the first like really emotional episode in Doctor Who. It just really gets to you, you know. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I rewatched this episode a few weeks ago, I actually felt sorry for Rose at the end. I was just like, wow, I never realised this story was that, you know, deep. But anyway, on to episode 9. Episode 9, I'd have to go with Flatline from series 8. Now, in this episode, Clara. Now, this is an example, probably the one exception to Moffat turning Doctor Who in basically the Clara show. It's where it actually works, because Clara is actually useful and not gratingly annoying in this episode. Because usually when she's like the centre of attention by the writers and all that, you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ, put some focus on the Doctor. He has been the centre of the show for the whole 52 years this thing has been running, but nope, you just screw it all up. That's why I'm glad Clara's gone. If the new companion is like this, I'm just gonna flip. If the new companion is like this, I will literally be so desperate for Stephen Moffat to hightail it the hell out of the BBC. Not the BBC, but still, out of Doctor Who at least. I mean, it's okay if he can write more episodes, because he has done really good writing in the past. You know, Blink, and you know, The Good Man Goes to War, but if he's not good as the showrunner, he's no good at the head writer. So this is where it actually works. The TARDIS like materializes, but it's shrunk, and the Doctor is stuck inside with like a shrunken door. He can't get out because he's not miniaturized. The like door of the TARDIS is, and it's like that tiny, whilst he's like normal size. So Clara has to go around with the TARDIS in her pocket and save everyone from this thing. Like, she meets up with this like street artist who's like been graffitiing, but turns out his graffiti's like possessed or something, and it like comes to life, and she has to save the day herself. And then she gets the TARDIS out of her pocket, she like shucks it, and then the Doctor like activates something, so it turns normal size, and then it just bashes all the like graffiti monsters. And yeah, it's a really good episode. Good writing, not spectacular, not like Blink quality or Good Man Goes to War, like I've said before. Those are really good Moffat written. I don't know if Moffat actually wrote it, but even then, I'm sort of like talking about Moffat's like time as showrunner, because like most episodes then didn't have good writing, at least compared to the Russell T Davies years. This is an example of good writing in the Moffat era. I just really like how this episode was like played out. The premise is, and the plot is like actually kind of creative, because it didn't really start becoming the Clara show until like in late Series 8, which this kind of is, but later Series 8 and Series 9. It was a bit in Series 7 as well, but just later in her like time as companion, it was just Clara, and a bit of Doctor as well. But hey, look, Clara, here you go, some Clara. On to episode 10. Why is the recording not stopping? I fucking missed the thing. Okay, let's try that again. On to episode 10. So episode 10 is a Doctor Light episode. A Doctor Light episode is an episode which doesn't primarily feature the Doctor. It usually features the companion or a separate character who's trying to like find out about the Doctor and gets caught up in like an alien invasion or something. And this follows Sally Sparrow, who gets like trapped into this like continuing story of the Weeping Angel. So you can't escape them because they know about her. She's and her connection to the Doctor. She's like looking up. She teams up with this guy who's like obsessed with like these tapes of the Doctor. The Weeping Angels send people back in time. The Doctor and Martha Min sent back in time with the Weeping Angels to 1969, and they recorded this thing like on a tape. And it says about the Weeping Angels, like, if you blink at them or you turn your back, they move. If you blink at them, they zap you back into the past. If you like, this is the Weeping Angel. If you turn around for too long, zap, they get you, and you're sent like way back into the past. And basically, Sally and this guy, I think his name is Larry? I have no idea. I haven't watched the episode in a while, really. A few months ago I last watched it, but still. She and him go to this like old abandoned house where the Weeping Angels primarily seem to like, that's their base, really. And it's really cool because they find the TARDIS there, and to rescue the Doctor, they have to use the TARDIS. So they put like a disc in the console, and the TARDIS teleports away to rescue the Doctor and Martha and get them back to the present. But the TARDIS dematerializes without them. Even though they're in the console, the TARDIS is like left behind, and they're outside with the Weeping Angels, because the Weeping Angels are like all outside the TARDIS trying to get in. And it turns out the weeping angels are moving because they're looking at each other. If like someone is looking at them, then they can't move. And since they can't move because like they're all staring each other in the face, something is looking at them. So they're just eternal. They're there for all eternity. They're just gonna all be there until someone tries to like get a sledgehammer and go. Sorry. This was a really well written episode. This is like one of Stephen Moffat's earlier work, like before he became showrunner. And his early episodes, I have to say, were probably the better ones. Like I said, in some of the earlier, describing some of the earlier episodes, this is probably one of, if not the best thing Moffat's done. It's kind of tied with this, and again, A Good Man Goes to War, because these are both brilliant episodes. I just can't decide which is better. It's like really difficult to choose a side. So I'm just going to stay neutral. That just reminded me of Shadow the Hedgehog. I shouldn't have said that. That game is atrocious. On to episode 11. Episode 11, I have to go with one of the most more recent episodes, which is Heaven Sent. Now, Heaven Sent had the critics going. They were regretting their words about Doctor Who, like falling a bit down in quality. I can see why they see that, because to me, and well, a lot of other people think so, Russell T Davies was definitely a better showrunner. He did way more brilliant episodes. And basically, everyone was just like, whoa, what? This is one of the best New Who episodes ever. Like, some went even as far. I mean, I won't call it this, but some people went and said that it was the best episode of Doctor Who in the show's entire history. Not just New Who, but Classic Who as well. Like, the whole 52 years of the show. And I can't really agree with that, but I will agree on saying this episode is spectacular. So, basically, the Doctor is trapped in this, like, never-ending maze. And he's running from this, like, weird creature. It was announced as the first ever, like, I think it was, I can't remember what it's called, it's like a one-sided episode? Like a one-sided episode or something, I've forgotten. But basically that means only one character is in this. However, it's not really, because you have this child at the end, and then Clara makes some, like, appearances here and there. Yeah, Moffat just can't take his bloody mind off Clara, can he? Jesus. Sometimes just the thought of Clara makes me want to shoot myself in the head. Okay, she wasn't that bad. She was a good companion, but Moffat just focused way too much on her. So basically, he's trapped in this never-ending maze. Notice I said never-ending there. Never-ending means he is eternally trapped there. If he dies, because he does die, because he has no choice but to get killed by this thing that's chasing him, it like burns his hand. Or, wait, no, not burns his hand. It gets his hands and like burns his face with it. And he is like dying, but he crawls up to the teleporter room and writes like a message for his past self, which will get there in the future. And this repeats for like, I think it was like 4.2 billion years or something like that. Something with a 2 in it and billion. I don't know, but at least I think it was anyway. Anyway, and then he finally gets out, and because he finds this wall that leads to Gallifrey, and he keeps punching it, and then this, like, because it lasts for so long, this allows him to finally break through the wall, because each time, like, the punches, the marks, like, left behind by his future self are still, well, future, it's kind of confusing, but every time the Doctor punches it, his past self comes back, and it's still there. It's still there. So he can just keep punching and punching and punching before he gets into it. And then, Gallifrey. Gallifrey's there. Gallifrey's back for the first time since the TV movie. Wow. Wow. So yeah, because in the Day of the Doctor it was saved by all the Doctors. They all came together and trapped it in a pocket universe. And he found this pocket universe. And what follows next? A pretty bad episode. Shame Hellbent turned out like that. Let's just move on to episode 12 before I cry. Episode 12, I'd have to go with The Sound of Drums, which was in Series 3. So, the big reveal at the end of Utopia, the previous episode. The Master is back. Hold on. The Doctor is not the only Time Lord in existence. Wow. I mean, that was a huge cliffhanger. I didn't even give, like, two shits about the Classic Who when I was like 4 and this episode first aired. So I was just like, I didn't even like, well, of course I knew about Classic Who, but I was just like, I didn't know, I thought he was like a new villain from like the Doctor's past that had never been seen on screen. I didn't know he was seen so like often in Classic Who, because he was seen there a lot in Classic Who. Now basically, the Master becomes Prime Minister of London, and that's pretty Prime Minister of Great Britain, and that's pretty bad because obviously he's not human, he's an alien, and he's going to destroy everyone. And in Utopia, these people are getting on a ship to go to Utopia, but it turns out like Utopia like kills them, and they get converted into these balls, like these little round balls called Toclophane. And at the end of the episode, the Master rips open the very fabric of space, allowing all the Toclophane from the future to come into the present day, and literally, like, I think he says, like, remove 1/10 of the population. 1/10 of the population! Wow. And 6 billion people as well. And there's 6 billion Toclophane. 1 for each people. So the only surviving humans are Martha's family, Captain Jack, who made an appearance in Utopia, Martha, and Lucy Saxon, and like a few like of the Master's like cohorts, like security guards and all that, and yeah, Lucy Saxon, who is the Master's wife. He has a wife. So yeah, those are the only surviving humans, and Martha's family is put into slavery. Professor Lazarus from early in the series, the Lazarus experiment, the Master uses I'm just like listing out the fates of all the characters. Martha teleports away, Martha's family is used for slavery, Captain Jack is chained up, and the Master uses like a laser screwdriver, which like, because Lazarus used it to make himself younger, and he reverses it, so with this screwdriver he like turns the Doctor like loads of years like older. He's like super old, and the Doctor is like left there, and he's put in like a doghouse. I mean, I should probably feel sorry for him. He's like being like enslaved, but he's just in a doghouse. He's a dog. He's like, the Master's like treating him as a pet. I know I'm a bit sadistic for laughing at that, but so basically, yeah, we're just left on this huge dilemma. Because Martha says, I'm coming back at the end. She teleports to Earth and she's like, oh, I'm coming back, definitely. And she just runs off, and then you are left wondering what the hell is going to happen in the next episode. And it's really epic. It's a really epic episode. And it's really sad how the fates of all these characters like turn to be, like how they're shown in the next episode. He's just like, what's going to happen to them? What's going to happen to the Doctor? Or like Captain Jack? The human race? Martha? What's going to happen to everyone? And yeah, kind of bad. So, let's move on to episode 13. Episode 13, Series 1, The Parting of the Ways. This is a brilliant... It's beyond brilliant. It's fantastic. See what I did there? Because, you know, it's a 9th Doctor episode and he says fantastic. And this is the 9th Doctor's last episode. What? Last episode, this is the first regeneration sequence in New Who, and that's why I love this episode so much. It's dark, it's gritty, you're just like, wait, is the Doctor gonna die? Because there are various hints like saying like the Doctor might die, and you're just like, wait, he can't be killed off, it's only one series. But no, because the concept of regeneration hasn't been introduced to us yet. And we're just like, whoa. Because when you see the Doctor regenerate, it's like, because Rose is shocked too, she doesn't know what the hell is going on, and neither does everyone else watching this episode back in 2005. And me too, I had no idea what was going on. I mean, I can't remember watching the episode for the first time, but I must have been shocked. I mean, to see, like, this guy that I've, like, grown to love, well, not, like, love, that's just weird, but, like, this guy who I've, like, watched on TV over the last, like, several months, just, like, change in a flash of light, and just, become, like, this completely different man. It's, like, really, like, shocking. You're just like, Russell T Davies, are you on crack? But no, this is the, like, first regeneration we've seen in, since the TV film. And it's just like Rose gets sent away, because the Daleks have revealed to survive the Time War, and they're led by this Dalek Emperor. The Dalek Emperor can only be destroyed with a delta wave, but to use the delta wave, it destroys everything within like a circular radius, and they're on the like satellite 5 from the it's now the game station. It was previously satellite 5 in the long game, and it's like here, and the Earth is here, and the Dalek ships are all here. They're advancing on Earth. So if he activates the delta wave, it'll destroy everything, Daleks and humans. So he can either let the human race be enslaved by Daleks, or destroy the whole human race and the Daleks. But Rose comes back using the help of Mickey and Jackie, of all people. She looks into the heart of the TARDIS, and with like all this energy is flooding her body, and she uses it to destroy, like, wipe out the Daleks, without the Doctor needing to activate the Delta Wave and also wipe out the humans in the process. But the trouble is, the Doctor needs to save Rose, because the energy is too much for a human to handle. She looked into the time vortex itself, and that's killing her. So of course he needs to get the energy from her into him, and he needs to regenerate. And as such, yeah. So, what do I think the best Christmas special is? Let's find out. The best Christmas special for me has to be the Voyage of the Damned. So this episode is I can't think of anyone to describe it. It's that good. So it's just wow. The Voyage of the Damned takes place on this ship called the Titanic. Why is it called the Titanic? Because it's gonna crash, of course. Funny. Humour. Sadistic humour at that. And it's crashing from these meteors because it's a floating spaceship designed around the actual Titanic. And these meteors hit the Titanic, and it's crumbling towards Earth. And the Doctor needs to get up to the control room with these host robots, these hostile host robots, on his tail, like they're trying to kill him, and a group of survivors, who were gradually killed along the way, have to make their way up to the top deck, and they have to steer the ship from crashing into London and absolutely destroying it. And it turns out in the Series 4 episode Turn Left, if the Doctor didn't let this happen, it would actually cause damage to most of England, because radiation would spread to Wales and Upper England and all around, south, London's here, and it just goes. And plus everyone in London is already going to be dead. They're going to be smashed by the Titanic. And yeah, so kind of a dark plot, really. Everyone, a large amount of people are just going to get killed instantly by this huge ship that's crashing into Earth. well, not really dark, but still, it's still kind of like unsettling, and you're just like you're fearful. You want the Doctor to get to the control room, but as I said before, the people who come with him are gradually dying along the way, and including who like everyone's like, oh, is she going to be the new companion? Astrid Peth, played by Kylie Minogue, and everyone's like, oh, cool, she's such a gold character. I don't know if people thought that. I don't know if people actually liked her. But I liked her. I thought she was an interesting character, and it was like actually quite a shock when she got killed off, because she gets killed off. Yeah, and it's actually quite sad. And the Doctor saves everyone in the end, but he's lost like Astrid and all that, and he's lost like Martha as well, because she leaves him in the final of Series 3, and he's got no one now, so he has to go on adventures, and then eventually find Donna again. Also, fun fact, this is the most watched Doctor Who episode ever. I think it was like 13 million viewers on the original air. Wow. So now let's go with a final recap. Episode 1 is Rose, Episode 2 is The Witch's Familiar, Episode 3, School Reunion, Episode 4, Listen, Episode 5, World War 3, Episode 6, The Doctor's Daughter, Episode 7, The Good Man Goes to War, Episode 8, Father's Day, Episode 9, Flatline, Episode 10, Blink, Heaven Sent, Episode 11, whoops, I said that wrong there, oh well, Episode 11, Heaven Sent, whoops, Episode 12, Sounding of the Drums, sound of the drums, fucking hell. Episode 13, Parting of the Ways, and the Christmas special, Voyage of the Damned. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my main channel, Interfan290. Don't forget to subscribe to both channels, and don't forget to check out our Twitter. That is on the about page of our channel, so go check that out, follow us, and yeah, so thank you for watching. Jake out.